Can you tell the story of this recent controversy?
Sure.
The sermon you
Why
just
not?
gave. You went
So-
to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would relate to this
Okay.
because to me personally, I apologize to anybody who was hurt by this. The absurdity of it is deeply intense.
So here's the story. The LA County mandates masking children in school, and all of kids in our school are masked, and many of the parents are extremely upset about that. I will just leave that at that.
Yeah.
I went to the Super Bowl. There were 70,000 people. Frank Luntz, whom we know, was a wonderful guy, gave me a ticket. So I was at the Super Bowl. I maybe saw 2 masks among the 70,000 people. I didn't even think about it, which was foolish on my part, no question. I took a picture of myself unmasked at the Super Bowl. And people were, many people thought, oh, great, wonderful, glad you're having a good time, so on and so forth. I don't want to diminish at all the many people who said that. A lot of people were livid. They were livid. And they weren't, what was instructive about it was they didn't say, nobody wrote me a private note and said, I think that this was a bad idea. You should have thought about this. No. They were, you're a hypocrite, you're a clown, you're an idiot. How could you do this? This is a disgrace. This is that. They
say that
thing.
Publicly.
Oh yeah, on my Instagram, you can still see. I left the remarks up because I really thought it was important. I only deleted the really vile comments because I thought that shouldn't stay up. But I left them up because I thought people should see, and I should remind myself what I did, and I didn't want to just delete the picture as though it didn't happen, because it did happen, and I did do it. And I felt terrible about that, and I felt terrible that I had not about. I mean, the comments, believe me, weren't pleasant. I didn't like it. Nobody likes it. But I felt worse that I had hurt all these people that I'm close to, and I defended all these people who were really upset that their kids were wearing masks, and now their kid says, why doesn't the rabbi have to wear a mask?
Well, first of all, it is tough to be a rabbi. If this is, the masks to me symbolize, these kinds of discussions symbolize not necessarily the issues at hand, but the intensity of feeling. And people are really struggling. People are in pain. They're lonely. The uncertainty of it. You don't know who to trust. Everything's under question. The institutions, even the scientific institutions, and there's all these conspiracy theories flying around. You don't know who to believe, and there's people just yelling at each other, and politics is weaved into this whole thing in some messy way. And you just get honestly, it's just legit, simple, just frustration, going back to marriage, of just hanging out with the kids and your wife, husband, just the stress just building up over time, no release. And just people want to tell you when the rabbi is not wearing a mask, even though it's at the damn Super Bowl, maybe want to comment on the Super Bowl part, which is awesome. But anyway.
But it released clearly a dam of all the kinds of feelings that you're talking about.
So how do you then write a sermon in that situation?
So what I did was I didn't answer on social media because I knew that I wouldn't be able to formulate it the way I wanted. And I was going to wait, and I was going to be able to give a longer, the sermon is 15 minutes, not that long, but I wanted to be able to give a longer answer as opposed to a tweet. And so I was really, I tried to make 2 points during the sermon. And I published the text of it, which I never do because I never speak from a text. I always speak from either notes or not even from notes. But this time I thought it was really important that I have a text out there too, so that people could actually look over it. And I just wanted to make 2 points, one of which was that I really feel terrible. And I did, that all these people were hurt, and that there is this, contradiction between the way I acted and the way they want me to act. And I also think, by the way, I didn't speak about this, but I also think that there are some people who just don't like the idea of a rabbi being at the Super Bowl. It's like you're supposed to be doing rabbi stuff. So I understand that too. But then,
rabbi at the Super Bowl. You are also, I'd hate to say it, but there's a rock star nature to you talking to Christopher Hitchens, contending with ideas, inspiring so many other minds. There's an educational aspect.
I
to this.
Appreciate that.
It's making ideas cool. That's a very powerful. That is also the job of a rabbi. You're not just supposed to do rabbi stuff.
Yeah, but I wasn't. Yeah, but I didn't do so much of that
At the Super
at
Bowl.
the game. So,
I see.
nonetheless, but the second part of it was I said that we have to be able to express our anger and disappointment better than this. You just have to. And in part because it doesn't get you the result that you want. I mean, when you scream at someone, that's not going to get them to realize what they did. And the most painful moment of it was this letter that I got from a Christian pastor who said, I always admired the Jews so much. I can't believe they could be so cruel, and especially to a rabbi. And I thought, that's not how I want my congregation to be perceived in the world. And by the way, some of them were from my congregation. Some were many were not from my congregation. But I spoke about what you talked about, which is that, I mentioned before that Moses broke those tablets coming down the mountain. And the Torah doesn't say what happened to the tablets, but the rabbis do. They say that they were carried together in the ark with the second set that was intact. And that we all have brokenness, communities and individuals. We have brokenness, and especially now. And we have to learn how to give each other space to be mistaken and broken and hurt and all of that.
And the cool thing, when you give people that space, you feel better. I mean, you, for caring for the community, it feels better when you show empathy and compassion and kindness on the internet. You'll actually feel better a week from now. You'll feel much worse if you make some kind of negative statement of principle on the internet. It's almost just exclusively true. So if you care about feeling good, just be kind first.
Right.
Be empathetic first.
Almost always the case. Exactly so. So it's, it settled down a lot. The single best reaction, there are people, and you can go on social media, you can see all the criticisms and so on and so forth. But the single best reaction I got was from a man who came up to me right after the sermon and said, "I have 4 words for you." And I thought, oh no. That was
Nothing good comes in fourth.
I got to confess. I said, what? He said, "You changed my mind." And I thought, wow. And I said to him, that's so... It's like, it takes so much courage to come up to somebody and say that in front of them. And I was so grateful. And the other thing that it tells me is, look, I've been the rabbi of that congregation for 25 years, and I taught 10 years before that. I've been a rabbi for a long time. I still have a lot to learn.